Disappearance. On February 22, 1985, in Winfield Township, Butler, Western Pennsylvania, Cherrie Ann boarded a school bus but never made it home. Though she was declared dead, her family never found closure due to the lack of a body. Stick around until the end of this video as we try to find answers to whether Ann Mahan got lost or was kidnapped. The playdate that never was. Imagine living every day not knowing whether your daughter is alive or dead. This has been the painful life of Janice McKinney, whose daughter disappeared in 1985. Ann Mahan was only 8 years old when she vanished. At that time, she was studying at a nearby school in Pittsburgh and was in 3rd grade. The friendly and talkative child went missing after being dropped off by the school bus. That day began like any other day for Cherrie's family. Cherrie was looking forward to the play date that her mother, Janice, had promised her. As usual, Janice accompanied Ann to the bus stop, which was 50 feet from her home. The school bus picked her up in the morning, and Janice reminded her child how much she loved her. If only she knew that that was the last time she would set her eyes on her daughter. She would have probably stayed home with her. Cherrie's day at school was normal, and during the evening, she boarded the school bus to go home. She was last seen boarding the school bus on Corn Planter 97 Road with 3 friends at 4:10 p.m. One of the mothers at the school, Debbie Burke, who lived close to Cherrie's family, was sitting in her vehicle at the school bus as she waited for her child to come home. Being the first on the scene, she watched the kids get off the school bus. She told the press that the kids played for a while, and she ensured that Cherrie walked past the car before driving away with the other kids. Both Leroy, Cherrie's stepfather, and Janice were home the day Cherrie disappeared, since they heard the school bus slowing down near the house. Though Leroy was excited to meet his stepdaughter after school, Janice encouraged him to let Cherrie walk, saying that it was a nice day. I bet the mother has regretted this decision since then. Since the bus stop was close to Cherrie's house, the parents, Janice and her stepfather, Leroy McKinney, started getting worried when Cherrie did not get home by 4:30. The search for Cherrie Ann. Panicking, the 2 parents started looking for Cherrie in the driveway, but they couldn't find her. Since the driveway was covered in snow on that day, you would have expected them to notice footprints of their daughter on the ground leading to the house if she was headed in that direction. If she was headed in that direction, right? What was alarming for the parents was that they didn't notice any of her footprints in the snow. However, they discovered tire impressions in the driveway soil around 50 yards from their home. Janice and Leroy started making phone calls, trying to locate their daughter. They first assumed that she was at school and had missed the bus, but their hopes diminished when the school reported otherwise. When they could not find her, they reported the matter to the authorities within an hour. The police launched an intense search to find Cherrie. They talked to many people, including the other children on the school bus with Cherrie. The kids confirmed that Cherrie took the school bus with them and that she got off at her usual bus stop with them. During investigations, the police discovered that a blue van had been trailing the school bus. The other kids and Debbie Burke, the neighbor, described the van as having a skiing scene painted on the side. It was described as a bright green or blue Dodge van 1976. Do you find it strange that the school bus driver didn't notice that they were being trailed? Well, this is a question on many people's minds. What is clear in this case is that both the kids and the neighbor described seeing the same van. However, none of the witnesses claims they saw Cherrie stop the van or board it. The police used the local elementary school as the main headquarters for the search for Cherrie and even asked the FBI for assistance. The initial search was challenging at first, since there was a thick fog in the region. The news about the missing child spread like wildfire as hundreds of volunteers, as well as firefighters, joined in the search. Helicopters and bloodhounds were used to search the surrounding areas. Police questioned everyone, including the friends and neighbors of Cherrie's family. They even administered lie detector tests on the parents to rule out their involvement, and they both passed. Despite a thorough search, Cherrie Ann was never found. The local community and businesses even raised a sum of $49,000 as a reward for the safe return of Cherrie Ann, but there was no response. This is what led to the conclusion that Cherrie was probably not kidnapped for ransom. Cherrie's case attracted the national spotlight, and the local news ensured that it remained fresh in everyone's minds. National TV networks, as well as shows that focus on finding missing kids, featured this story of Ann's disappearance. Ann was featured in popular circulars called "Have You Seen Me?" These postcards have circulated to thousands of homes in the US. Additionally, a local songwriter even came up with a song for Cherrie, and it was played on air on different radio stations to generate some tips, but nothing came up. Were there any leads on the case? There is a question that Janice and Leroy have probably asked more than they can count. After Ann disappeared, eyewitnesses on the suspect vehicle came up. Some people told the investigators that they had seen a vehicle that matched the description of the suspect vehicle in New Kensington. Others said that they witnessed a blue car following the van and that the van was repainted a few weeks after Cherrie Ann disappeared. Unfortunately, they turned out to be a dead end, since the van that had been of concern since day one had never been traced down. How frustrating. Though the police department revealed that it still receives calls to check out cars being scrapped in the hopes of finding the suspect vehicle, they have not yet found it. Since Cherrie's disappearance, investigators have never completely ruled out the possibility that she may still be alive. That is why in 2000, a computer-generated rendition of how Cherrie may have looked at 23 years of age was mailed to thousands of Americans. However, this also did not generate any significant leads. There was even a woman who came up claiming that she could be Cherrie Mahan, but the DNA didn't match. In July 2014, Chris Butler, a state police investigator, used search dogs to check out a site near Winfield Road after he got a tip of a body buried there. However, the dogs didn't find anything. The most recent lead on the case was in 2018. This lead involved a written letter sent to Janice from a person who referred to himself as Pastor Justice. The letter detailed who had killed Cherrie and the reason for the murder, as well as where she was buried. However, since the letter was sent anonymously, investigators had no actual evidence of whether these details were true. Though Janice submitted the letter to the police, the only feedback she got after a while was that they were still working on it. Though the law determined that Ann be declared dead 7 years after her disappearance, the mother petitioned to have her declared dead in 1992. The lack of significant leads has caused the family so much pain over the years. Janice even revealed that even though she learned to live through losing a child, the hardest part has been living with no actual answers. Speculations on her disappearance. Due to the unexplained disappearance of the 8-year-old, different speculations have come up over the years. Investigators believe that the occupants of the blue van probably kidnapped Cherrie. They further argued that Cherrie probably knew her abductor since no one heard any screams when she was probably taken. Others argued that the lack of footprints leading to the house suggested that when Cherrie was dropped off by the school bus, she did not go far and was probably picked up quickly by her abductors. However, the speculation of kidnap was just a theory, since there was no evidence showing Cherrie getting in the blue van. According to Janice, Cherrie's case can still be solved. She believed that though her biological father may not have been involved in her abduction, people known to him kidnapped her daughter. Some also speculated that Cherrie Ann got lost but did not have any evidence to support this. Despite the different speculations, Janice's prayer is to find out what happened to her daughter. Since her disappearance, the family has been hosting an annual remembrance dinner of Cherrie Ann Mahan at a restaurant. The annual dinner is also attended by close childhood friends of Ann, who revealed that her disappearance had a significant impact on their lives. There is also a statue of Cherrie that sits at the family's cemetery plot. Thanks for watching.